Hey everyone, it's Brian, and where's the game? Why is it not on the screen? It happened again. I can't finish this game. However, this time seems to be different. When it happened to Ghost Lion, which I believe is the first game this happened with, I didn't do something that I might have otherwise done, and I honestly just had no interest in going back to do that one thing. I felt like we were good with everything that we needed, so I moved on. Then it happened with Persona 1. That was the cheats screwed everything up, and therefore I couldn't get the last boss fight to load. This one seems different. This one doesn't appear to have anything to do with the cheating to get through it, quote unquote, quickly, because that kind of wasn't happening. But I can't explain entirely what has happened here. And I spent a couple of hours trying to get around it, and I couldn't. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that I just simply couldn't quite make clear what was happening there. So for anybody who's familiar with this game, here's what happened. I recorded the previous episode a week ago, and that's part of the reason why you're getting this in a standalone episode and not the end of it, because I broke a rule. My rule was I told myself, don't do the episodes, don't produce them until you're done with the game, in case something happens. And it worked out. I said in some other episode of something else that I got 7 episodes in to the Mega Man Legends game before getting soft locked on that one, assuming also because of cheats there, don't really know. But at least I didn't do the work of producing them. This time it was different, though. A week ago, I did produce those episodes, and I did so because they were a little bit longer. I had a lot on my hard drive and a lot more recording that was coming up, and I wanted to get them out and done so I could archive them and then clear my hard drive space. So here is what has happened. A week has passed since that last episode was recorded, and I am currently rendering, even right now as we speak, rendering some episodes that Rob and I recently recorded, which will have been out many months ago by the time you get this one. And I thought, you know what a perfect time to go back to the floors that I had already kind of done most of and just fill them out. And as I was doing that, I got a stupid idea in my head. I decided, what the hell, if I'm going to be here doing this, why not knock out some of those side quests? I know I looked at the list. I know that none of it seemed important, but why not? I had already started doing them, right? And I'm going to be walking around these floors, right? So why not? Well, I took one that was about a floor I had already completed, having doors covered in vines and you couldn't get through, and they give you poison, but there's only so much poison. And it seemed pretty obvious what they were saying. They were saying, you need to kill the creature that's causing these vines to appear. You have 10 poison we're giving you. There's going to be 10 doors for you to find your way through to that monster. And the only clue that they give you is that it's pretty close to where 2 scorpions face each other. And on the map, that seemed pretty obvious. One of the characters could see all the foes on screen, and sure enough, there is a hallway that is 9 ivy-covered doors away, with a small notch on either side of this long hallway, where 2 foes are, one each, facing towards each other. It's got to be it. And sure enough, there's one more door, also ivy-colored, or covered, I should say, with a foe inside of it. So that's it, right? what else is there to think about? Except when I go there, it's one of the bull characters. It's not anything that would be causing Ivy to do anything. And when I kill it, nothing happens. And then I get the idea that, oh, maybe the issue is that so many days have to pass before a lot of these foes regenerate. We discovered that kind of on accident on our own. So I went back to the inn, had him sleep a bunch of days, and sure enough, like every foe has respawned on every level, right? And I got to walk through like 4 levels to get to here, so it's grindy and what have you. And I get to that spot again, and just as I'm approaching the scorpions, which I'm assuming I should maybe fight again, they disappear from the map before I reach them. And so I don't know what the hell that's about either. So I say, you know what? It was stupid of me to even go about thinking about doing these side quests at all. What was I thinking? What was wrong with me? How silly. I should have known better. Let's just move on. Nope, you can't. Because to make it a puzzle, they didn't just cover and block the doors that are the right doors to go through. It's all of them. I can't get to the next floor. So I got stuck. The problem is, to make it worse, I saved before doing it. In fact, I thought I had another smart idea. I see they're probably going to have some fake doors covered in ivy. I should be smart and get the poison and then head back to town and save. No, that was a dumb thing to do, apparently. So, like I said, I'm kind of stuck. And I sure as hell am not going backwards and forcing my way through forward again. No way. Not going to happen. I was so curious about the idea, and I'm still curious about the rest of the games in this series, but I just cannot bring myself to do that. I was not having a good enough time. These were some of the worst feeling episodes in the short history of Tropeacetic already for me, to the point where I think I stopped talking for a while there and just was playing a game, which is fine. You know, there's plenty of videos like that out there, searching no commentary for stuff. But it's not what it's meant to be and feel like, and therefore it's not what I want to be doing. So the last episode here, the one of me just talking to you and playing the game, I decided, you know what, I'm going to have to finish the list still. I recorded 9 full episodes. It was rough deleting the 7 from Mega Man Legends. I can't now also get rid of 9 episodes. You know, that's a lot of work. So I went through and I read about the plot, and I kept asking, is there a plot? And it turns out the answer is, yeah, there is one. It was just starting for me. So I figured one of the things I would share with you this way, podcast style, I guess, is let you know what that plot is, in case you guys were like, I'm watching this Tropeacetic of this game, so I don't know what the plot is. This is how I'll figure it out. I would feel bad if you'd have to go find somebody else's videos who did it, you know, although please feel free to do, because this was a lot of work and I was cheating. There's going to be a lot of people playing this straight up, and they did the work, and I would love for them to get the love, so to speak. So in essence, it turns out that the chieftain who's questioning about whether or not you should really explore this labyrinth, he's pretending like he doesn't really know what's down below, but he knows everything. He is the villain of the game. The story is that this game takes place in the future, and what happened is some sort of climatological event destroyed society. He was working with other scientists on a plan to heal the earth with trees, which, as silly as it sounds, is probably the best idea we've had so far in real life. So this is the Yggdrasil project or what have you, and it's these big, massive Yggdrasil-like trees that will, over time, help cure the world of the awfulness that has happened, which apparently includes a biblical-like flood. But he knows that it's going to take a while. So what happens? Does he not get to see the fruits of his labor? Hell no, he says. So he super mad scientist genius-y like ties himself to the tree, and he's able to live forever, or at least as forever as the tree itself can. And then he waits for the aftermath of the calamity to just sort of mellow out. And it takes 1,000 years, because of course it's 1,000 years. Humanity's rising up again. They're coming back. And so he wants to help start this new civilization. Seems like a reasonable guy so far. However, another true to life thing is capitalism takes over. Turns out the economy that gets built is the one that's based on the exploration of this labyrinth, and then the creatures and the items they drop and everything like that. So the only way that Etria is able to sustain itself economically speaking and societally speaking is based on this labyrinth being worth visiting. Reminds me a lot of what I think about what must be happening in places like Utah and Colorado and places that have mountains and ski resorts and this expectation of snow, and now it's getting harder for them to get the snow because of droughts and because of temperatures going up. The tourism market can dry up. His fear is that your group of guild members, which if you remember I stupidly named 1-2 Tree, is doing too good. You're gonna plumb the depths of this labyrinth, and you're going to find out that what created this labyrinth was this calamity from the past, and that this tree is a part of healing it. It didn't feel to me when I was reading this that he was worried about the truth being found out so much as once it's found out, it's not the truth itself that's the problem, but who's going to want to explore the labyrinth anymore? It will have been explored. And why take the dangerous undertaking if you don't have to? And so he's trying to stop you. And it turns out the Ronin Ren and the Hexer Tlachka are under his employ. And he orders them to kill you. So you have to kill them. And then you kill him. And then the secret is apparently out and the game ends. Which, I don't know if that my delivery just now of it really kind of puts it out there. It's not a tropey ending. That's not a story that gets told a whole lot, is those specifics. So I thought after reading that, okay, I have to go through the list. I have to find out what is the final score of this going to be. Will this remain where it has been up to this point, the least tropey of all the games played? And the answer is no. The answer is no, because a lot of what takes it out is just things like talking to a tree, but a lot of the monsters, even though there were plenty of monsters that didn't make it. So at the conclusion, which, for those of you who really know this game, and you take the time to look through the comments on each video and see which ones I'm adding, let me know if I missed one. Because at the moment, it is tied for 8th place with the very first game we've played on Tropeacetic, Dragon Quest I. 24 on the trope count for an 8.4% tropeness. That means it isn't as original as Ghost Lion or as Penny Arcade 1. And so it's low. It's definitely not trope-y. I don't think Dragon Quest I is going to be looked at middle trope anymore. I think Dragon Quest I is going to find itself to be somewhat original. So that's a surprise. But yeah, that's where this game came from. And I'm really not liking the ratio at the moment here. I'm not liking that out of 11 games, I had 3 that couldn't be finished. And I feel like this one was not finished in the worst way. With that, we're going to bring Etrian Odyssey to a close. I repeat myself here, but I am still looking forward to what the rest of this series has to offer. I think when we get to Etrian Odyssey 2, that's going to be pretty telling. I can't wait to see what changes they've decided on with their sophomore effort, even though Dragon Quest II, Final Fantasy II, it can be a little rough. I'll definitely be giving it to 3 though. And let's just see what they decide on, because it's tricky with it being an Atlas game. Atlas likes to keep certain styles their style, but at the same time, this RPG is not very Atlasian. So I don't know what to expect. That said, it means from here I need to spin a wheel. And I need to find out what is actually the next RPG to play on Tropeacetic. And I hope you guys will come check it out with me, even after all this failure. Ciao.